What's up, you guys? So today I want to talk about Dragon Prince Season 1. So I've been watching this show lately and I am really enjoying it. I'm thinking that it's got like a lot of really good bones to it. I definitely think there are things that it can work on going into the next season. I don't know if it's like over yet or not. I think there are like 4 seasons out. So I'm hoping that it's not like done. So this is my first time watching it. I did watch a few episodes like a few years ago, back when it first came out, but I didn't really stick with it. I did this time and I really like how this season went. I really like how season 1 went, and I'm really curious as to where season 2 is gonna go. So I just want to kind of talk through all of that, and I'm gonna start off with like a non-spoilery section that's more like my general thoughts, and then I'll get into a spoilery section where I talk about like the episodes and some of my favorites and some of the highlight moments for me. And then also talk about some of the things that I am excited to get to and see in season 2. As far as the non-spoilery thoughts go, this world is really complex. Like for a kid's show, this is a really complex world with so many details. I think that one of the things that I was kind of missing in this season was I wanted more explanation on some of those things, right? Like I feel like we're just missing some of the world building aspects, and I wish that we had them so that way I could understand better like some of the different things that are happening, like some of the different characters and how they work and how their abilities work, and especially like how the magic system works. Like it doesn't feel like I've got anything to connect to magic wise. Everything feels kind of disjointed and disconnected, and like I understand stuff like the primal stones, but like how does that connect to like the dragons, but like how does that connect to like the moon shadow elves and what they can do? Like there are just so many different things going on in this world that I just want to see that like magical connection. I want to see what they're all drawing from. I want to understand it better and get to know it better, especially as we've got one character, Callum, who's learning to use magic, which I absolutely love, and I think is gonna really help going forward in the next few seasons to kind of learn it better, because in this season he just didn't have a chance to learn a lot, and so I'm hoping that in season 2 we get to see that. Another thing that I really like is I like the fun characters. I really like having Sokka's voice actor in this because I just love having a voice actor that I know and love in a show. It's kind of like whenever I hear Dante Basco, I just absolutely love it because these are like the voice actors of my childhood, and it's so fun to have that. I also really liked the voice actor for Rayla as well. Like I really like the different accents that they have for the different people. I just thought it was so unique, and it really built up some of the characters. Next, I want to talk about Claudia and her brother. So I'm honestly really intrigued by both of their characters. I think Claudia can be a bit annoying sometimes, but I do really like her because I think that she's just got so much depth and so much room to grow, and same goes for her brother. And I'm just curious as to if they're going to be like good or bad, because I feel like they could really go either way. They just don't have something good that they can really connect to, right? Like their dad is obviously like not someone that we're rooting for, but I'm just so curious about what's gonna happen with them. Next, let's talk about Ezrin and Callum. So I think that they are really fun. One of the things that I was kind of missing in the show, especially early on, was kind of understanding how they were related, because they'll say that Callum is like the stepson for the king and that Ezrin is like the prince, but I just want to know what that family dynamic is like, because we never actually see Callum's like mom. We just see the king, Ezrin's dad. So I want to know more about like what happened to Callum's mom and what happened to their parents and stuff, and I don't know if we're gonna get that because of stuff that happens in season 1, but like that's something that I would personally just like really like to feel like I can connect to them better and understand their relationship and their dynamic, because really they just come across as like close friends. I don't really see like the brotherly connection, but I want to see that because I just want to understand their relationship. I want to understand how they grew to know each other, how they met, what their parents' dynamic was like. I just think that would be really interesting. Another thing I want to talk about is Bait. Bait is really cute. Bait reminds me of a cat, and I love anything that reminds me of a cat because I have a cat. I don't know if you've seen her, but she's really cute. So I love Bait. I think he's fun. I think he's got a derpy face. It's great. And then another note that I have on the show is, as far as like the villain goes, I really feel like we need more development with the villain in the show, because I'm just really missing that. Like I want to understand his story better and why he's done some of the things that he's done, because we really set up a lot of different stuff he has done, but we just don't understand why yet. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I'm just so curious, and I'm really curious as to like everything that happened between him and the king, and like why the relationship the way it was at the beginning of the season, because we just don't get that. I really hope we get like a flashback episode that goes back to them and kind of their history with one another, because we need it. It's really hard to understand his motivations and what's making him tick right now, other than the fact that he's like evil. And then another thing I want to mention, I really like the animation style. I think that it's got such like a light coloring to it that makes the show feel really bright, even though there can be some very dark moments. And I think some of the ways that the different stuff is animated brings a lot of fun to the show, and it also helps to depict different characters in kind of different ways and show them kind of struggling with different things. So now let's get into the spoilery stuff, the episodes. In the first few episodes, we have the Moon Shadow Elves breaking into the castle to kill the king and to kill Ezran. Rayla discovers Ezran, and Callum discovers the egg, and they get out, and Claudia tries to kill them, and it's great. I love Claudia trying to kill them, because Claudia, again, I'm just not sure what she is. Is she evil? Is she not? What is she? But anyways, the king winds up dying. I really liked how they depicted the king dying. I really like how they didn't really show it, but they showed the armband falling off of Rayla. I wish that they had described the armbands a little bit better, because like I didn't really understand what they were the first time I watched it, but the second time I went through it made so much more sense. I'm also really curious as to like whether or not that snake thing was used, because like it had to have been. Like why else would it have been introduced if it wasn't used? Like the evil guy had to force it to be used or something. Like something like that had to happen. That's what I'm thinking. That's one of my theories for season 2 is the king is gonna come back in spirit, but like his body's gone. And I'm hoping that's how we get some information behind like the king and the evil villain guy. I don't remember his name, because I just feel like I'm really in need of that story there, because like there's so much pent-up aggression between the two of them, like passive aggressiveness in the beginning of the show, where like the king really doesn't trust him, but like also the king kind of does trust him, but also the king feels remorse for stuff and he doesn't, and it's just really confusing and it doesn't make a lot of sense, and I just need to know. I need to know now. Callum and Ez find the egg and they get out with Rayla, and I really like them kind of going off on their own little adventure and kind of breaking away and being hunted by everyone, because it's fun. It's always a fun story. That's just one of my favorite tropes, is when like you've got like a little group of gang just being hunted by people and they're trying to go. They're just trying to do a task. Right, it's very quest tropey. It's got like that hero's journey in there. Like I just love it. In the next 3 episodes, the villain, Claudia's dad, tries to take over like the kingdom and take over in place of the king. I like seeing him being abusive with his power. I'm curious as to what he wants to do with that though. Like what is his end goal? Because I don't know that we have an end goal here other than to like kill the dragon egg. But like why didn't he do that before? Why didn't he kill the dragon egg before? It just doesn't make sense. And so we have Callum and Ezran and Rayla off on the run, and Rayla's scared of water, and I love that whole bit. I love how her opening up really helps Callum to like trust her more. I love the whole moment. Also, Callum being into Claudia. Let's talk about that for a second. Why is that? Why is that a thing? Is it gonna continue? Because I don't see it. I don't see it yet. They need to like have more interaction, because they just didn't have enough. The next thing is Callum learning magic. He is struggling so hard, y'all. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate watching him struggle. I really like him using his magic though in ways that he can at least know to use it, and like learning to be creative with it. I think that really shows his character really well and shows how creative he is and such a problem solver, which I love it. I really like Ezran and just how like open and honest and trusting he is, and he just brings me so much happiness watching him. We also have the general, who is like a cousin or something to the prince. I don't really know how she's related. I can't remember off the top of my head. She was cool. I mean, I just feel like we didn't get enough of her. Like she didn't do a whole lot outside of be like a tough general who is trying to save the princess. But I do like seeing her not trust the villain character. I can't remember where this season left her, so hopefully we'll see her again next season and she'll get some more development and we'll get to understand what makes her tick a little bit. Maybe I'll even remember how she's related, because I'm pretty sure she's related to them. I'll Google it. Here is how she's related. But I do like how she sent her lieutenant to lead the charge for searching for the princess, and then how the villain kind of reacted to that by immediately throwing him in the dungeon. Also, let's talk about the dungeon scenes for a bit, because the villain and the one Moon Shadow Elf in the dungeon was really fascinating. I'm really curious as to what exactly he did with that Moon Shadow Elf at the end, because it was like he trapped him in a coin But like, what does that do? And why is that so terrifying to the elf? I want to know that more. Again, I just want more explanation on this world and how this magic works and why these different things are so scary. I don't feel a fear. I don't feel the fear that this elf was feeling. I wanted to feel it. So after that, we have like the next 3 episodes. I don't really remember exactly what happened in all the episodes. But anyways, it's fine. We meet the little girl who's got like the wolf, and they go and they take the egg up the mountain to try and heal it because it fell on ice at one point. I feel like this little girl was very underdeveloped. She just felt very random and thrown in, and like a guide type of character who just needed to be like more developed. Maybe we could have just stuck to the wolf. Like, she didn't need to be there. Like, she just didn't add a lot, I didn't think. But maybe she will going forward in the next few seasons if she sticks around. But I liked the wolf. I really liked that twist where it was all just an illusion that the wolf had its leg healed. And I really appreciated that from the perspective of like, the wolf doesn't need it. Like, the wolf is fine. It's just other people's perspective. I also really liked the twist with the going up the mountain where there was all this scary stuff, but it was all just an illusion. Like, it wasn't real. Like, I just really liked that. I thought that was really cool. I also really liked how Ezrin can apparently like talk to animals. Like, I'm a huge animal lover, and so I love when we have characters who can just like talk to animals. Like, I want to talk to animals. I want to know what my cat's saying to me. 90% of the time it's feed me, bitch. Next villain, again, let's talk about him. And so he sends his kids, Claudia and that guy I don't remember the name of, who's like super buff and super into like powerlifting or something, and like running upstairs. He's weird. I don't particularly get his character, but to each their own. And he sends them both off with like separate individual quests. I really like that. I'm really curious as to how those two things are going to play together, and if they're going to like hinder each other or get in the way of each other, and if they're going to tell each other, and how that's going to play out in season 2. And then as far as the villain goes, I also really like seeing him kind of transform at the end of the first season. And again, I just want to understand better like what that means and who he is. So anyways, that was my thoughts on season 1 of Dragon Prince. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, all of the different things. I will see you in my next video. Bye!